I think Carson Wentz is one of the more interesting players in football because, for one thing, he's like objectively not a bad quarterback and actually had a solid season last year. This is his year-by-year WAR, or wins above replacement. You can certainly see how the 2017 through 2019 era was very good for Carson Wentz. And again, keep in mind, in 2017 and 2018, in fact, in several of these years, he did not play for every game that season. Obviously, as we all know, 2020 was a complete mess. 2021, not as bad of a disaster, but still not a great year in terms of WAR. You know, an average quarterback season, as in like a mediocre starting level quarterback, should get you roughly around 2 wins, so 1.56 is on the low end. I actually think this chart is kind of the best way of visualizing Wentz's career for several reasons, and there's actually some legit good stuff you can take away from this chart. So just first, what you're looking at, this is year by year his big time throw percentage and his turnover worthy play percentage. Big time throw on the left, turnover worthy play on the right, and then this is year by year. So that top column, 4.0 and 2.9, that was from 2021, and then next one down is 2020, so on and so forth, except all the way at the bottom, the one that's after the line in bold, this is his career average. So that's what you're looking at. So you see last year his big time throw percentage was 4.0 and his turnover worthy play percentage was 2.9. So his turnover worthy play percentage was down from his career turnover worthy play percentage, which is 3.5. In fact, it was a career low for him in terms of turnover worthy play percentage. So I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, he had less turnovers, but it wasn't really him doing better and him keeping the ball out of harm's way as much as it was just a lot of stuff just went Carson Wentz's way, which to some degree still is true. And turnovers just in general can be a very fluky stat, but turnover worthy play percentage is a lot better, and it is a little promising to say, hey, he did get better there. I think the other thing, and the reason why I wanted to include big time throw percentage, is that was also down this year, and you can see it's really down from some of his better years, 2017 and 2019 respectively. You see how good his big time throw percentage was there, 5.0 in 2019 and 6.2 in his MVP caliber year. Over the course of his career, it's just 4.3, and that's kind of what he was around this year. So that's probably what to expect from Wentz, would be a 4.3 big time throw percentage and a 3.5 turnover worthy play percentage. I think it's fair to just assume he'll meet his career expectations. And I also wanted to look at this chart before we finally get into some film. So something like this, what you're going to see is this is the receiving core rank using PFF grades for each year he's been in the league. So 2021, the Colts ranked 23rd. 2020, his worst season. The receiving core was the worst in football, according to PFF. 2019, it was lower, but at least competent. 2018 was solid, and then 2017 was really good. 2016 also not very good. And so there is clearly a correlation there to some degree of the good stretch he had 2017 through 2019 that we talked about earlier. That's where he had his best stretch of receivers. So, which makes sense. That follows. Receivers obviously help quarterbacks, but I think it's even more extreme in Carson Wentz's case. So for example, something like this is going to be less about a wide receiver, more about a halfback, Jonathan Taylor, but again, same kind of idea, right? Having guys to throw to and having stuff schemed up, that's what you hope for. This is a cover 3 zone, and you see the way this concept works, it can work out all right. And look, as you see, Indianapolis runs it very well to where Jonathan Taylor is open right here, and I mean, obviously he's going to be open, but it seems like it's set up so that he can pick up some yards after the catch. Wentz puts this right on the money to where Taylor can make the catch on the run and keep going, which that's obviously a very important aspect in all of this, and they're able to pick up a good play on that one. So was that because of Wentz? Well, no, it was schemed up well. Did Wentz do a good job on that play? Yeah, he did. So that's something that Wentz can absolutely do well, and that's what you hope when you get Carson Wentz. This is the plus side of Carson Wentz, is when guys are getting open, he can hit them and hit them consistently. Even on difficult plays, like this one, which is a little bit blurry at first, it will eventually get less blurry. I wanted to show this play, though, because it's a great example of what he can do well. It's going to be zone coverage, and there's a receiver who's running a route that will get into a gap in coverage here. As you see, Wentz is going to take the snap, and okay, this, you see how it was supposed to work on paper. It's going to be a little bit more difficult in practice, right? Pretty good defense here from Jacksonville. There is a bubble where Wentz can make this throw, but it's going to be difficult. And this is the value of Carson Wentz, is he is someone who, I mean, For one thing, one of the negative traits about him is that he feels as though he can make every throw, but the value is he can make a lot of them. Like, he is a really good thrower of the football. He's very accurate and has incredible arm talent. Look, as you see, it's just a good throw, and they're able to get a big chunk play and get the ball inside Jacksonville territory there. So it's a good play, and Wentz is more than capable of making good plays. His highlight reel is not short. Like, he has plenty of highlights that he has made over the course of his career, and that's part of why guys fall in love with Wentz, because you can see this on tape and get excited about it. Of course, the flip side is something like this, where Wentz tries to set up a screen, it's not open, he panics, is about to get sacked, flings one up in the air, ends up getting a pick six, which the pick six in that spot was actually better than taking the safety. So once he was already, grabbed up, it made sense to just throw it up. That actually wasn't a bad, horrible decision, but it was more so just the panicking at first and then kind of getting himself into that situation, and then just, to the point where he has to just fling it up and it gets intercepted. And we've seen Wentz make some of these where it's just kind of like, okay, that wasn't ideal, that wasn't great, right? So that's kind of the negative about Wentz, is that when things go wrong, he makes them go very wrong, right? He's not someone who will just take a play for a loss too often. Now again, something like this, as I said, he is getting less turnover worthy, less turnover prone. He is making less mistakes, and this is an example of it, where it's going to be man coverage, and watch what happens. Carson Wentz takes the snap, he is going to run to play action, and he looks over the middle. That's where his first two reads are. Nothing is really open. Maybe he could go to the deeper route, but there's a safety there who could undercut it, so I actually like the decision to not make this throw. Wentz scrambles outside the pocket, nothing gets open, he's under pressure, he just throws the ball away. To me, that is a good decision. He also almost hit a cheerleader, so good job on that cheerleader getting out of the way. She must have been great in dodgeball, but as a whole, I think a very good play by Carson Wentz, and you hope that this stuff can continue. So all of this stuff I kind of like. I don't hate Carson Wentz as a player, and in fact, I don't think anyone hates him as a player. It's kind of been similar to Wentz. I feel like he gets a similar criticism to like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, no one says is a bad player, just he always gets overpaid. Carson Wentz, kind of a similar thing. He's a fine quarterback who got paid like a really good quarterback because of that 1 year in 2017, and now teams keep trying to get rid of his contract. Although again, right here now, let's actually look at the contract details itself. So we are in 2022, so the first one where you see the W logo there for Carson Wentz, and I think it's interesting because you look at his cap hit, it's $28 million this year. That's a lot, and I just don't really think he's worth that, quite frankly. Again, just kind of the way I view this stuff is you really kind of have to knock it out of the park with the value you're getting from your quarterback. And it seems like the two biggest ways to knock it out of the park are either get a solid quarterback on a rookie deal or to get a great quarterback, and even if you're paying them $50 million, they're still going to help you win because they're worth it, because quarterback is just so important if they are truly that elite quarterback. Now, giving a quarterback who is Carson Wentz $28 million for 1 year, that's actually not the worst value in the world. Getting about $14 million per win, that's better than average. I mean, that would put you at a championship contention if you could do that for every position. It's just a lot more difficult to do that with any other position other than quarterback, just because it matters so much more. So it's like you could win a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. You would just have to be loaded at every other position. That being said, though, this move does help them make the playoffs. So that's the flip side of this. And also, there's a potential out. Right after this year, you can get rid of him for no dead money if you want. So it's not that high of a risk, and that's why there's reason to like it. Is it the best move that's going to win them a championship? Probably not. Is it a move that could get them in the postseason? Yeah, it is. So that's why I'm interested by it. But that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on all of this stuff? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.